Have you ever made a design and wanted to kind of make some tweaks to it? That's what's kind of happening with this belly chain that I'm going to show you exactly how to make step by step in this video. But before I do that, I want to make a little tweak to it because I'm not loving the way it's sitting on my body with my outfit right now. I do want to bring it up just a little bit and tighten it so that it sits a little bit higher on my body. So I'm gonna do that with you guys on camera right now. I'm also not loving the way that I placed this little bow charm. Here, let me bring it closer so you can see. I also wanna take this bow off and maybe put it somewhere here on the chain link instead because it just looks not sitting right. First thing I think I'm gonna do is take off this bow charm. Just open it up with your set of pliers and take it off. I'm gonna set this aside for just a second. And next, what I think I wanna do is clasp it right here so it sits higher on my waist. But instead of cutting this piece off, I'm just gonna go ahead and attach a jump ring right here. Then I'm gonna use my set of pliers to close it up. And now this gives me the opportunity to clasp it tighter on my waist. And now I'm gonna go ahead and attach the bow to the bottom link here instead. Since this already had the jump ring attached to it, attach the bow pendant to it. So now we have this entire new look that I think looks so much better than the previous look. Now we can get into the full tutorial on how to create this body chain. Once you have the pearls and spacer beads strung on the wire, grab your crimp bead and slide that crimp bead onto the wire. Next, open up the jump ring and attach it to the last link of the chain. Close up the jump ring. This part is super crucial to ensure that when you're closing the jump ring, you hear a slight click. Pass the ring and then come back to where they meet, ensuring that the jump ring is fully closed and there's no open section left behind. This is one of the most important parts of the entire tutorial because if your jump ring is even slightly open, that could cause this super thin wire to slip off of it. We don't want that to happen. We want to make sure that this jump ring is 100% tight and closed off. Once the jump ring is on, you can go ahead and slide the wire into the jump ring and then loop the wire back into the crimp bead that we had originally slid onto the wire. And pull the wire all the way to where it meets the jump ring. Then using your crimper tool, you want to go ahead and crimp just the bottom section of the crimper tool that looks like a heart. Then turn the crimp bead perpendicular into the top circle of the crimper tool and press down, causing a fold over effect with the crimp bead. So the crimp bead should look like this. Next, you can use your cutter tool to cut off the excess wire. And as you notice, I did keep the wire attached to the spool when I did this first closure because this allows me to use this spool as a bead stopper, and I can also gauge exactly how much wire I'll need on the opposite side to close it off, and I won't be wasting as much wire. Go ahead and cut that wire, attach your crimp bead onto the wire, and then attach your jump ring. Insert the wire back into the crimp bead. And you can also insert it into the spacer bead that's going to be covering the crimp bead on top. And I like to also use my plier to hold on to the jump ring while I pull the beading wire close to where it meets the crimp bead. what we're doing is we're measuring out at what length we need to crimp down the crimp bead in order to still be able to come back and fit this jump ring on top. So once we measure that out, we can go ahead and open up the jump ring and detach both the jump ring and the spacer bead. And this part is super crucial to ensure that you're not moving the wire too much, so that you can go back and use your crimper tool to crimp down the exact same location that it was at when you took the jump ring and spacer off. So you can go in with your crimper tool and press down on the bottom section and turn it perpendicular, and then press down to have a fold over effect with the crimp bead. And I also kind of sometimes use this flat part to go back and tighten it off even more, just to ensure that the crimp bead is fully crimped down and it won't slip off. And you can even use your plier to tug on it, make sure that it's fully secure on there. Now you can go ahead and cut off the excess wire. After attaching the crimp bead onto the opposite side of the pearls, cut the chain at your preferred length. Take the spacer bead, put it back over on top of the crimp bead, lay it down while I grab my jump ring, use my set of pliers to go back and attach it onto the wire, and then to your clasp. Close up the jump ring, pass it, and then come back to where they meet. On the opposite side of the chain, attach a slightly larger jump ring. We did get these cubic zirconia bow pendants, emerald green one or a clear. For this piece, I'm gonna go ahead and attach the clear one because it complements really well with the spacer beads. And that completes the entire look. All the materials that I used to create this piece are going to be linked down below in the description of this video, so you can just click the link and it will redirect you to the exact product that I used. And in part 2 of this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create these earrings as well as these emerald green earrings. So go to part 2 of this video to see how to create these earrings.